For some reason, the FBI is across the street from my factory in moon suits looking for something. How interesting.
Man, that light up there in the ceiling is bright. There we go. I want to talk to you about cheap cars, or why we don't have any longer. 2026 is the first year that not a single car for sale in the US is under $20,000. I want to talk about what I think happened to them, what the future might hold, and I also want to show you what we're going to do here at the car factory. I have drawings of the truck that we're going to make here at the factory to try to contribute to this whole affordable vehicle thing. But you don't have to take just my word for it. I brought in my friend Rory Carroll, who's an expert in the automotive industry. He's been studying it for over 20 years.
Just hanging. What are you up to?
He's worked at Jalopnik, he's worked at Auto Week. He also now has his own publication called
Started Alloy, alloymag.com.
He's going to help us understand what's going on with all of this. But first, I want to clear something up. This here, the Senpai, is a one of one. That is a racing truck. That is not our production vehicle that we're doing here at the factory. You'll see that vehicle at the end of this video. Pop quiz, what do these three car makers have in common? Ford, VW, and Toyota. I'll give you a second. They've all built their empires making an affordable vehicle.
Oh yeah, we did have a ton of cheap cars. Volkswagen Beetle, I think, is a really important cheap car. You got to give it up, obviously, for the first affordable car, the Ford Model T, still a wonderful machine.
And Toyota had the Corolla. These were the vehicles that built these companies. This was the foundation of what made these companies possible.
There used to be the cheap car, and the cheap car for the American consumer was like, a huge part of the car market. Everything from, the Tri-5 Chevys and shoebox Fords, and there were like the regular ass car was a super important part of what the American car market did until very, very recently.
These companies look very different nowadays. VW has swallowed up Bugatti and other luxury makes. Toyota, of course, has Lexus and such. Still making the Corolla, though, which is quite affordable. Ford doesn't really make the Model T anymore. They make the F-150. That's their bread and butter. Ford actually doesn't even make any cars any longer, aside from the Mustang. Doesn't really count.
There's a lot of contributing factors. I can remember like when I came into the car business, these cheap cars, Chevy Spark, Chevy Sonic, Ford Focus, that are very low margin cars. You do not make a lot of money per individual unit sold, but the idea was we're creating a ladder into a brand. The Chevy Sonic buyer is going to buy a Malibu next and may buy a GMC or a Tahoe, Chevy Tahoe or whatever down the road, because they're going to be loyal to the brand.
But if you had to take all of these and have one common feature between all of them, what would you have? If they were cheap to buy originally, they were owner repairable. So owners could actually work on their own vehicles instead of having to bring it to the dealer every time. Model Ts, they didn't really have a lot of dealers around, so you had to work on it yourself. And lastly, they were useful. I know the Beetle doesn't exactly qualify as useful. It's pretty small inside, but the Corolla and the Model T, very useful. The Model T, actually, you could use as a farm implement to run threshers and grinders and all kinds of stuff.
That really kind of started to fade like in the mid-aughts. I think car companies really stopped. It was kind of a product of some slowdowns in the market. And, it's like, what do you want to kill? We're going to kill our lowest margin product. Like that's the product that we're having the most trouble kind of making money on a per unit basis. They're really like manufacturing a small car, an affordable car in the US is not a ton cheaper than manufacturing a big high margin car. So the difference in cost between like Chevy Sonic and say like a Tahoe or a Cadillac Escalade is not huge, but the difference in margin on those cars is massive.
This is how many months of income you would need to buy one car on this list. Because affordability is really about how much time you need to put into getting the vehicle. If the wages are up, then you can buy more car. If wages are down, you can buy less car. This is normalized to both the wage and dollar of that era so that you can get a apples to apples comparison of each vehicle. I actually did it in months that you need to work to pay for that vehicle. That's straight months working. First, of course, we have the Model T. You need to work 2.3 months to be able to buy yourself a Model T. Now, the Model T actually got cheaper in its run. When it initially came out, it was around $850, which is like $25,000 in today's money. As the vehicle was produced, it got cheaper and cheaper until it got down to $260, which is about $4,600 to $4,800 in today's money. Next, of course, you have the VW Beetle. You need to work 2.7 months to buy yourself a nice VW Beetle, brand new. They sold 21.5 million VW Beetles, and production only just ended recently. It is the longest continuous run on a single platform of any car ever made. Every other car has been redesigned. along it, not the Beetle. But you'd have to work just 2.7 months to buy yourself a new VW Beetle. The problem is this here, is that if you needed to buy an average car today, you would need to work 7 months to buy yourself the average new car nowadays, and that is at the median income of $84,000, which is a lot of money. People just don't buy new cars any longer unless you make over $100,000 a year, which defeats the purpose of all of these.
People talk a lot about income inequality, but like the top part of the market, those people started doing really well. And so big cars, more expensive cars were selling really well. The high margin cars were selling really well. And car companies were like, man, there's like kind of an infinitely expanding pool of wealthier people who can buy cars. And the pool of less wealthy people, or people who have lower income, who would typically be the market for like an entry-level car, is getting smaller and smaller. So the way we look at it today is like the bottom 50% of American households do not constitute a market at all for new cars. Functionally, half of Americans are kind of like excluded from the economy, which is wild.
Now, there is one exception. The one exception, of course, is the Hyundai Venue, just over $20,000. It would take you 3.2 months to buy one of those. So yes, you could buy yourself a Hyundai Venue, but no one does. The problem for all this is actually made way worse for trucks. There is no truck for sale in the US right now under $30,000. The Maverick comes close, but good luck finding one anywhere near that price. Now, I do not want to make purchase decision YouTube videos. I'm not here to be a car finance guy. That's not what I'm for. I'm here for building stuff. But remember, the goal of any vehicle needs to be cheap to buy, needs to be owner repairable, and it needs to be useful. I want to show you the vehicle that we're going to make here at the factory that I believe will qualify all three of these things. Now, I will say before I bust this out, I'm going to lose half of you. A lot of people have expressed interest. They wanted me to make some kind of vintage pickup truck, like a C10 or something. We're not going to do that for a bunch of reasons. One is it's just not new. It's not going to really contribute to any of the problem. You can buy a used C10 pretty easily nowadays. Two, you can't make that many of them. You can make up to 300 of them by law until you cap out, and then you can't produce any further. If we're going to actually make a dent in this problem, I want to have a lot of vehicles leave the factory. This is the vehicle that we're going to make here. This is an American K truck. It is a very flat platform that's completely customizable for whatever you need it to be. If you need 2 seats, you got it. If you need 4 seats, you also have that. The whole point is that there's a modular platform on the back. You can put whatever accessories you want. This is kind of a fun thing to show carrying plywood if you're going down the street. But the whole point is that you can deck this out however you like and change it really however you want, so you can make exactly the kind of truck that you want. The key behind this vehicle is that it's very flexible for us to make here. We can make this out of tube frame, and we don't have to make anything too complex. There's no body work yet. There's going to be body work later on. The drawings don't really give it too much definition. I think when you see something that's driving down the street, you're going to feel a lot differently about it than you do right now. I can hear a lot of people navigating away from this video because they're like, this isn't what I wanted from him. I wanted a big old gas guzzling American truck, and maybe later, but right now this is what we're going to make here, because this is both what I think the market needs and also what I want to make. I really like these little things. It's a pity though that you have to import them 25 years old or older, which means these trucks are vintage trucks by the time they get here. They have much better trucks over in China and Japan that we just don't get here because of laws. So this will be the first American-made K truck right here. And we'll get around a lot of the regulations on not importing tiny trucks because we're going to make them here in the US. Here in Detroit. Now, I will make a few of these to start, and we'll see if anybody wants one. And if they don't, then I'll have just a few here at the factory and a whole lot of space and a whole lot of robots making these tiny trucks. But hopefully, more than just me and a few friends want these.
What's my likelihood and success in building what would be the most affordable vehicle in America with effectively no money?
I think it's pretty slim, but I don't think that's a reason not to try doing it. I think if you can do it, you know, it's like you and I talk all the time about choosing products because they're hard, or projects because they're hard, and I think that's what makes it interesting. I think it's tough. It's a really tough thing. If you can find a way to build a little bit of margin into something that solves a problem for people and that fills a gap, fills a need for some people, then it's like, that's business. I mean, there are millions of Americans who have been shut out of the car market. There's a shortage of good used cars. Man, if you can crack that nut, like if you can figure that out, you got something. I think, like, give it a shot, man. You can figure it out. If someone's going to do it, it's like, might as well be you. Or someone will be way too early for it, and then somebody else will figure it out 5 years later.
If you would like to join the team to help contribute to this, this is an open source project. The whole point of this is that anybody can make these trucks legally. They don't have to be just made here at the factory. Anyone with a dream and a little manufacturing space can make these trucks and sell them. I want to contribute to people's mobility. I've been in the mobility space my entire career. Starting a bus company in 2011 was never about owning buses. It was about getting people where they need to go. I believe this vehicle can do a lot of those same things, just on a much smaller scale. If you want to contribute to the project, you can go down to the link below. This whole thing works like an open source project, so anybody can sign up to be a contributor and add to what we're doing here. We need everyone. We need engineers, CAD designers, designers, welders, fabricators, you name it. Especially people who are experts in wiring and electric vehicles, because that's what it is. So hit mutiny.fm to join the team. We're getting this truck out the door by April 2027. I promised it in a previous video. We're gonna get that done. We're gonna make a new truck. How hard can it be?